K-drama is a global phenomenon worth an estimated $4.2 billion in exports, according to the Korea Creative Content Agency. Hundreds of millions of people stream these shows every year, from Los Angeles to Lagos. But here is a number that sits uncomfortably next to that success. A significant share of Korean drama writers working outside the top tier earn monthly incomes below Korea's minimum wage threshold, according to surveys by the Korean Scenario Writers Association. The people crafting the stories the world loves are, in many cases, barely getting by. How does an industry this profitable leave its core creative workers so exposed? That is the question this episode sets out to answer. Let us map the scale of the problem with data. The Korean Scenario Writers Association surveyed its members and found that roughly 6 out of 10 drama writers describe their income as unstable or irregular. South Korea's content export revenues have grown dramatically. The Korea Creative Content Agency reported that broadcast content exports exceeded $2.4 billion in a single recent year. Yet the distribution of that money is heavily skewed. A small number of celebrity head writers command fees in the hundreds of millions of Korean won per episode. Everyone below that tier, which is the vast majority, operates on contracts with no standard minimums, no residuals, and no royalties tied to overseas streaming revenue. The Korean Film Council and industry observers have noted that ghostwriting arrangements, where junior writers do substantial work under a senior writer's name, are common but entirely unregulated. And the Korea Employment Information Service has tracked that the median annual income for workers classified under arts and cultural creation hovers well below the national median wage. To understand why this situation exists, you have to understand how Korean drama production evolved. For decades, the major terrestrial broadcasters, KBS, MBC, and SBC, controlled nearly all production. Writers worked within a seniority-based guild system that offered some stability, even if it was rigid. Then came the cable boom of the 2000s and the streaming explosion of the 2010s. Netflix and domestic platforms like Tving and Wavve created enormous demand for new content, fast. Production companies proliferated, most of them small and undercapitalized. The bargaining power shifted from writers to producers and platforms. Because Korean copyright law has historically provided weak protections for screenwriters' residual rights, a point documented by the Korean Scenario Writers Association in multiple public statements, writers signed away streaming and overseas rights with little recourse. The guild system fragmented, and the live shoot production model, unique to Korean drama, made things structurally worse. In live shoot, episodes air while later episodes are still being written, sometimes just days before broadcast. That creates a permanent state of deadline crisis for writers, with no buffer, no revision time, and no escape hatch. The human cost is becoming harder to ignore. The Korean Scenario Writers Association has publicly reported that many of its members show symptoms consistent with chronic burnout and anxiety disorders. Several high-profile writers have spoken in Korean media about collapsing mid-production, completing scripts from hospital beds, or simply disappearing from the industry in their 40s. The creative cost is subtler but real. Scholars at Korean universities studying the content industry have noted a narrowing of genre diversity. When writers are under financial and deadline pressure, they default to proven formulas. The bold experimental dramas that first put Korea on the global map came disproportionately from writers who had breathing room. And there is a pipeline problem. The Korean Scenario Writers Association has warned that fewer young people are entering professional screenwriting, and those who do often leave within 5 years. An industry that seems to be booming on the surface may be quietly hollowing out the talent pool it depends on. Korea's drama writer crisis is not a uniquely Korean story. It is a case study in what happens when a creative industry scales faster than its labor protections. The same pattern appears in Hollywood's writers' strike of 2023, in the music streaming royalty debates, and in the gigification of creative work worldwide. When a culture product becomes a global export, the financial rewards tend to concentrate at the distribution layer, the platforms, while the creative labor layer remains fragile. Korea is simply living through this contradiction in a particularly visible way because K-drama's global rise has been so fast and so well documented. The question for every country watching is whether the lesson gets applied before the talent pipeline breaks or after. For now, Ji-yeon picks up her yellow pencil and keeps writing.